Hey guys, Dan Harley here, and it is, bear with us, it's July 4th, technically, 5:30 p.m. Vietnam time, or I guess they call it Indonesian time, and around 3:30 p.m. Pacific time, and about 6:30 p.m., 5:30 p.m. Eastern time, or something like that. So anyway, about halfway around the world here. I might catch up with you guys. It's been a couple weeks since the last time I've done one of these things here. First of all, it's Independence Day in the United States, and this is the first time in quite a few years I'm not in the country during this, so it is a bit surreal experience, but also strangely enough here too I feel more American, more proud of my country than probably ever before, because I'm here. A lot of people here, they'll give everything up, their entire life up, just to be an American. Despite all their problems, all the differences, all the issues, they would in a heartbeat drop everything to become an American. And that's something that frankly quite a few Americans don't quite understand now recently here. So anyway, life in Cần Giờ has been fantastic. It is kind of laid back a lot. We're, like as mentioned before, we're kind of in a village over here that's growing up, kind of like Apple Valley is. You know, we're at the growth spurt there, where it's just enough people. You got enough stuff around here that we really don't have to go into town. Saigon being town, so we don't, except for separate occasions here. We have been to Saigon a couple times. On last week, Thursday, Danny and I went in there for, actually had a Rotary meeting at that night, but we got there early, spent most of the day bouncing around Saigon itself. And I'll tell you, it's like night and day compared to Cần Giờ here. Those of you who don't know, we're an island, basically, several islands. On the basically the south side, southwest side of Saigon. Used to be where the Viet Cong used to hang out here, and it started as a sleepy fishing village. Technically, kind of is, but there's a lot of development here. From what I understand here, the more I learn about it, this is going to be kind of the next Singapore, Da Nang, Hong Kong, whatever you want to call it. There's a massive amount of development going to happen here pretty soon. So we're relishing the moment here. Probably the last time we're going to see Cần Giờ the way it is, and I really like it right now compared to Saigon. Like I say, we have to take a ferry, because it's an island. We have to take a ferry to the mainland here, because they have a bridge working on, but it's not quite done yet. And it's about, let's say, 20-30 minutes to the ferry. Another, anywhere from 5 minutes to an hour crossing from the ferry to Saigon. And then Saigon itself is like night and day. And we go from basically a sleepy island to one of the, 10, 12 million people just stacked on top of each other. There's some excitement there, obviously. There's also being used to be kind of a kickback, laid-back area here. It takes a little bit of adjustment. In fact, Thursday when we decided to eat in Saigon, and we went to a restaurant, really good restaurant. It was your typical place to get pho, whatever. And the problem is right on a really busy street. And about every 5 minutes, there's a big old huge construction truck that went by there. It's so loud you can't even hear yourself think. And people in the Saigon are used to that. People who are not in Saigon are going, my God, there's a bunch of just noise everywhere. So anyway, also we visited, there's this chaotic traffic circle close to the International Hotel, right where it is like the center of the kind of the historic center of Saigon. There's Bentang Market, and then there's this traffic circle, and they have a big old statue of one of the popular Vietnamese war heroes there. Life for me, I don't remember the name of it. I'll come up with later on. But Starbucks One is right at one of the leaves of this place here, and we were at a coffee shop directly across here. By the way, I should say something here too. A lot of the American brands around here, like Starbucks and McDonald's, they've been here, established here 10 years ago or more. They're not doing really well. In fact, McDonald's one is not too far away, maybe about 2-3 blocks away from Starbucks, and it's basically shut down. I was shocked. Not only shut down, it was graffiti everywhere. It was boarded up. It looked like it was downtown Compton kind of thing. One of the few places actually graffitied up I've seen. A little surprising. I'm not sure. I have an idea why it didn't work, but I don't know the details of it. But it was obviously it didn't work out, and it is right down smack center of about as much population you can probably get. I know it was proposed that McDonald's are going to spread like wildfire, sort of like they have Burger King already here, and what you call it, KFC's been here forever. You see it everywhere around here, but McDonald's not so much. In fact, we see maybe one other kind of mini McDonald's in District 2. We're going to get that a little bit here. Well, that was it. And Starbucks one, I'd expected this, but wasn't very busy, especially compared to the coffee shop that was directly kitty corner of Starbucks one. The coffee shop we were at was just packed. Where you could see from our coffee shop down to Starbucks, there was hardly anybody there. So, and the rumor is there is Starbucks still charging $6-7 per cup of coffee there. We're right across the street. The same basic cup of coffee is about $1 or less, and it's better coffee too. So the natives don't go to Starbucks. It's only basically a tourist trap, and that's it. So, and that's probably not a really good business plan to work with, but it teach their own. Let's see here, and also, like I say, we spend most of the time Thursday gallivanting around Saigon. Danny and his grandma went to Cho Bentang Market, which is basically a big historic marketplace in Saigon. That location has been a market of some type for like 200 years. The building itself 110 years old, and those of you say that malls won't work anymore, well, this thing 110 years old is still there and it's still packed to the hilt. So maybe something to think about. And I went my merry way doing something else, and we met up at the coffee shop, and then we started going. And then toward the evening, we went to Danny and I went to Rotary Club Saigon International, which was endearing. And many of you know I've been Rotarian for a long time, and a rather prestigious position. I'm not area governor at my area there, so it was quite an honor to represent American Rotary, my district, so on and so forth. Also surreal because you have like-minded people 8,000 miles away. People really care about humanity, want to do good for their community and do good for mankind. I happen to be on the 4th anniversary of the club, so we got to eat cake and ice cream, and got to meet some really fantastic people there. In fact, we came back with a project from them. They have a project called Heart to Heart, where they're going to try to fund surgeries for about 30 kids, anywhere from 2 years old to 16, 17 years old, having heart conditions. And it's something we're going to cover a bit more later on. But it was, long story short, this is a project that a lot of my Vietnam veterans friends are looking for. And I think I found a perfect opportunity for them to get involved. So more of that later. As I mentioned, Thursday was the Rotary meeting, and had a great time there. We got back really late. Once again, we have to take a ferry back, and if you don't get the ferry by 9 o'clock, they shut down the ferries. There's only like 2 going back and forth, whereas during the daytime they got 4 or 6. So you practically, that many ferries, you can practically drive on the ferry, get to the other side, keep going. But when it's down at 2, that immediacy of getting a ferry turns out to be maybe half hour to an hour. So we didn't get home till like midnight, something like that. It was we were dragged out to the end here. But Friday was Andy's birthday, and we decided to take him out to fancy dinner. You don't have too many friends around here, so no sense of putting up a really big party. So we decided to make a big party when he gets home. But we had a good time nonetheless. We went to a kind of nice restaurant over here. He ordered fried rice, of all things, and not just any fried rice. This is some type of special blend from, I'm going to say, from a recipe found in the mountains of the what you call it, of the what's called the Hmong people, whatever. But it's just really, really good. I had a portion with it too, so it was probably one of the most fantastic bowls of fried rice I ever had. And so we kept it simple. Oh, here's something interesting here. We had 4 people, basic hot pot fried rice. I think I had a couple beers, whatever. Everything total was $20, less than $20 actually. And I'm going to get that a little bit here towards the end here. We're going to talk about price differences and stuff like that. So anyway, on yesterday we went to Saigon because I had a meeting with actually one of the people I met in at the meeting at the Rotary meeting. He had to be a Rotarian, had to be a guy pretty well connected with foreign investors and so on and so forth. So we paid a visit back to Saigon. We took a car from here to there, which is pretty convenient, and we decided to go. Our meeting was in the afternoon, so we decided to go be a tourist for a little bit. And we went to the Reunification Palace. I've been there quite a few times, but this is probably the first time Danny's been there as an adult, basically, and kind of remembers what's going on. And it was interesting. It definitely is a big tourist attraction. They have a lot of stuff going on. Everywhere you turn around, there's a gift shop or something around there. There's several restaurants on location. Looks like they actually even have a pretty high, high level housing there. Literally, a lot of these houses literally face the Reunification Palace, and high volume here. I've seen a Mercedes Maybach there. I mean, this is a car that's easy a couple $100,000 parked in the driveway. So there's some big money here. We had a good time. It was a big building. There is, Danny and I were joking. Every time there's 2 or 3 dining rooms on each floor. There's like 3 or 4 floors there. So, and these aren't just big little 6-seaters. We're talking big 20, 30 seats and receiving rooms, stuff like that. Well, it's a palace, so that's what you expect. And then we got to the top. We decided to go to the top and work our way down. I told Danny the interesting part is going to be in the basement, and sure enough, it was. They still have basically all the old maps when the war was going on and stuff like that. And we got a couple pictures and some videos on that. It's pretty interesting there. Then, cool thing about this whole thing is when we're leaving, the driver somehow, some way, he pulled out in front of the palace and went out the front gate. Oh shoot! Somebody's here bear with me. The neighbors here. We're gonna keep on talking. It literally went out the front gate of the palace there. So like we own the place. So that's pretty cool. And then, so anyway, also met my associate. He's lived in District 2, which is Thảo Điền district. Those who are Vietnam veterans, you might recall, this is kind of the other side of the Saigon River. It basically is all farmlands and rice paddies and Viet Cong. So it was nothing there. In fact, it wasn't nothing there for even 10 years ago. And except for big old billboards, it's saying there's going to be big old high rises and stuff like that over there. And it's there. And this is the first. And I'm not sure some of you guys recall, but I actually started school here. I was born in America, but I actually started school in Saigon. So I remember looking across the river there, and there's basically nothing but rice paddies. So it was surreal seeing all these big old high rises everywhere. And then we got to go where my friend's place was, and it was just immaculate, just amazingly. He had a home office, and I got to tell you something here. The details of what he put in his office here was amazing. The top two floors was basically his business. Each one of the rooms had a sign, essentially a suite for each one of the businesses he ran. It was the most immaculate home-based business I've ever seen. In his conference room, he had a U-shaped desk in there, and every seat place had a digital port. I was blown away, and that meeting went very well. I'm hoping that I know we're going to be working with him for quite a long time. I get a good feeling that this is a good. He's a Rotarian too. We have basically have the same common interests and stuff like that. So we're gonna work something out. And cool thing about it is when we were leaving here, we got to stop on the other side of the river. Usually, first time I ever seen from the other side of the Saigon River back to Saigon. I took some pictures there. I'm going to post. I think I posted them already, but a bit surreal coming from a person that's seen the other side there. So all you Vietnam veterans out there, look for those pictures. Okay. I want to talk a little bit about veterans in Vietnam because there seem to be quite a few more rolling in over here on their own, and for good reason. Let me get a little history here. My dad's a Vietnam veteran. That's how it came about. We've been coming here since 2005, and I married my wife in 2006. Back then, it wasn't that popular to even just visit Vietnam because it still kind of had the smell of communism. And a bit stuffy, and it had some issues with visas. It still technically do, but as time progressed, things loosened up. In 1985, the country introduced Doi Moi, with basically it reintroduced market economy because the communist economy destroyed the country. Back then they were like the third or fourth poorest country in the whole world. And that's the reason why I had all these refugees, boat people, as you might remember. Literally millions of people tried to escape this country for a better life, and most of them died on the way. So when Doi Moi happened, it slowly kind of introduced a market economy. I think Bill Clinton, and I'm not a big fan of the Clintons, but he probably did a pretty good thing. He introduced Vietnam into the kind of favorite nation status, whatever, and that started working out. And then also introduce more American businesses over here. When I came around 2005, around that time, there was a big push for technology. One of the big universities here, they had opened a big university just strictly for programmers. And they pump out thousands of programmers every year. And one of the things most people don't realize here is the largest chip manufacturing facility in Asia is actually here in Saigon. Intel put this together many years ago. And also Oracle, Bill Gates has been here quite a few times when he was still with Microsoft. Oracle, Larry, what's his name, has been here often. I think Elon Musk has been through here a few times. I know the Trumps, the Trump boys have been here a lot. In fact, Eric has just been through Vietnam. I think he left just before he got here. So there's a lot of interest here. And speeding up here, I tell you, the American veterans, going back to my dad, he was treated like he was royalty here. And he really, really loved it here. In fact, the reason why we had this house is because him and mom were supposed to live here happily ever after, and pass away and go about his business. But that didn't quite happen. He passed away before he actually got the opportunity to really live here. But still, I brought a few Vietnam veteran friends over here. They had a ball here. Todd, I'm going to wave out to you there. He had a fantastic time. got a little bit more trouble than he probably should have, but he's come back here probably more times than I have now. And then also, it's not uncommon to see American veterans around here somewhere. And a lot of them move into District 2. There's a place called Phu My Hung, which is a American village. And that has grown up too. I've been coming to that area for like 20 years. And Phu My Hung basically is the American village, literally. And it started off with like 3 or 4 blocks of what looked like American kind of community, you know. It had wide streets and a supermarket and American signs, stuff like that. Now it's just huge. I don't know where it used to be. You used to have to go cross over a swamp to get to it. Now I don't know where Big Ends or Ends anymore. But there's a lot of folks there. You see round eyes a lot of tourists. District 1 is full of tourism. But naturally, because that's the heart of Saigon, and it has really matured. Lots of traffic. There's also one place here, right across from the palace, is kind of an open tent area where they have, I'm going to loosely term, street food. But the street food is in probably a 10,000 foot tent. So there's a lot more going on there than expected. So it is becoming a haven for Vietnam veterans and actually retirees too. And there's also a little problem with the visa system over here. They're working on it. And I'm going to get to what and why too. And not just Vietnam, but the cost of living is significantly cheaper in Asia, Southeast Asia, than it is in America or Europe. But one thing I need to issue here is Vietnam and all the countries around here are seeing that how much it costs to be retired in a Western country like United States or Europe, and it's much more cost effective to be here. So they're kind of opening up to accommodating that market. Vietnam are probably lagging behind a little bit because they always had some type of visa issue. In fact, one of the running jokes here is most people visit Vietnam only once because they can't get their visa extended, so they go to Thailand and someplace else. But even that's getting fixed up a bit. Hopefully, go in the right direction. Maybe, for example, several years ago, I can only get like a 90-day visa. Then I got to leave the country, come back, whatever. And it's a little pain in the ass. That's been going on for a long time. Now it looks like I can get a long-term visa, like a 5-year visa, not because I'm married to a Vietnamese, but because my mom's Vietnamese. So it's interesting. So that's something we're going to pursue. Also, Vietnam is seriously working on a retirement visa, where if you want to retire, they give you opportunity to 5-10 years, whatever, a little bit hassle free. You can buy property in certain areas. They're still in the works on that. Thailand, Malaysia, all these other countries, Philippines, they already have some stuff in the process. Primarily because they're trying to market towards the retirees in America. So, and let's get into what and why here too. I know I'm taking a little bit of time. I was here 33 minutes. Bear with me here. It's been a while, so I'm going to put a lot of information here. Let's talk about cost of living over here, because I mentioned quite a few times in some other videos and stuff like that. Let's see here. There's something that I can go. I remember going to Denny's in Apple Valley. Danny and I would go there just before we head out to go work out. $30-$40, not uncommon for breakfast for 2 of us, and tips and stuff like that. We could get just steak and eggs across the street that way. $7 for both of us, including really good coffee. Gas in California now is over $4 a gallon. I just filled up my motorbike, which is over there, like $1 or something like that. Then again, it's only $1. It's only barely a half-gallon tank, but that $1 or $2 will last me for over a week driving a little motorcycle around. Compared to my little Prius there, I'd probably about $30 to fill it up. That'll go for maybe a week. So we're talking I can stretch my $1 30 times just being a motorcycle and right around here. There's something called Con Tham, which is, I call it the Vietnam's version of, this is a gravy. It's kind of a staple here for breakfast, even lunch. Dan and I can do breakfast like that for about $4 or $5 for both of us, that's including coffee. Coffee at a really fancy cafe. We mentioned I went in Saigon. This one really fancy coffee shop, like 2-3 story tall. The coffee was like, and really fancy, one of those floofy ones from Starbucks, like it was $1 compared to Starbucks, like $7. Mentioned root canal I've been doing. I had a root canal done here. It costs was about $300-400. It would have been about $3,000 for the 2 root canals in the United States. These glasses, okay, I just got new prescription glasses here, and over the United States would be $300. It's cost me, these are $70, and they're bifocal. They are transitional, top of the line frames here. Ironically, it's the same frames I can get United States, and the same glass and everything. And also my appointment, it was walk in, and the glasses were finished within 2 hours. So like lens crafters, but even better. Places to stay. Phu My Hung, which is a really popular area and actually really high class. This is like the Beverly Hills of Saigon here. $1,000 per month, and really nice place there. It's very obtainable. Where in the United States you can barely get a studio for that. And $1,000 a month, we're talking about, you know, a couple bedrooms, real nice bath, you know, cleaning service. In a really nice posh area. So, and you can start to see why people are coming here to retire. Vietnam veterans are coming here to retire, because they stretch their dollar out way further than if you stay in the United States. So that's something to think about. I don't know what the answer is, the states here, but fact is these countries are seeing a problem in the U.S. and they're responding to it. So. I don't know if it's good or bad, but it is what it is. So, anyway, final thoughts. I'm here till I guess about 20 more days. 21st, we're heading home. And we're going to be in Hanoi next week for about in a couple days for about a week to finish up some business up that way. And we're coming back and then heading right home because Danny has school starting in August. So we need to get home in time to kind of readjust and become Americans again. The country has been amazing. It really has been, especially being here. I really enjoy myself. But, you know, it's also, I really value being an American. The more I'm here, the more I want to be, I'm proud to be American. So. I want to make sure I close that off on July 4th for you guys here. So, you guys out there, you know, drink a beer for me. Be proud of what our accomplishments are. I know we have a lot of differences over there. A lot of people have opinions that don't seem to be getting past them. But think about one thing here. We are all ultimately Americans. You know, it's easier to listen. It's much better to listen than to argue. Think about that. So anyway, thanks for watching, and there will be more to come and later on, and we'll see you next time. We're going to go out the front. There is the palace.